All right, guys, we're over here at the fuel dock at the shrimp tanks, kind of making our decision whether or not we're going to go. I think we'll be able to. It's howling pretty good, though. I think I just felt some 40-mile-an-hour gusts, so it'll be interesting to see what it's like out there. So stay tuned. Okay, guys, well, we obviously had a lot of wind noise today, so I just kind of cut the mic out on the camera, and I'm just going to kind of talk you through this. We're just leaving Bud and Mary's here now, going under the bridge and into the bay. We ran along the bridges, pretty calm for most of that route, with the wind right behind us. And now we're running through an area called the Wheel Ditch, which is protected by mangroves on all sides. It's always a cool place to run through, and people really enjoy it. And of course, it's protected from the wind. So we're going to get through here. And then next we're going to be cutting up along some banks that start to bring us more northwest into the bay and up into the Everglades towards the mainland. As you can see, it's fairly calm because we're running along the edges of those banks, and so it keeps the spray down and keeps the bumpiness down. Here we're kind of jumping through some cuts in between the flats where it gets real shallow, but it's just a couple feet deeper, so as long as you trim up, you can jump through these cuts and again stay in protected water to keep yourself dry and comfortable. So now we're like in the middle part of the bay and still kind of sticking to the edges, but we have some downwind shots where we can kind of run down sea and not get sprayed or get too bumpy, so we're kind of running through there right now. Here we're coming up to a small little channel, which is really not much of a channel, just a small cut, and you can see on either side of it it's very shallow where you can even see a few banks sticking out of the water. The wind sometimes actually drives the water out of the bay, and when it's blowing 30 like it was today, that hard east wind will blow that water out, and it'll be a lot more shallow than you think, so you got to be real careful running around. So here we're just kind of continuing up around some more banks and getting further into the middle bay here, and another boat was out here coming up behind us. Actually a smaller skiff, not a very big boat, a 18-footer maybe, so he was running, even shallower than we were, and goes to show you you can still even get out on a boat like that if you're hardcore. Of course, it's going to be a little less comfortable than being on a 25-footer like mine, but you can do it. So now we're kind of getting closer to the mainland areas. Not a whole lot of deep bays anymore. A lot of areas where it's 3-4 feet in the bays, and then a lot of shallow flats. We're jumping through another cut here where it's real shallow, and getting kind of closer to where we can start to see the mainland of southwest Florida there. And we're going to continue up here through the next bay and get into this channel here where obviously you can see this is super shallow. Getting into this channel got really filled in last year or 2 years ago after Irma, so you really have to be trimmed up and jacked up and going full speed on a low negative tide like this that we had. And this is all wind driven too. Today we actually didn't even have a true negative tide, but the wind blew it all out. So that just goes to show you the power of the wind. But again, you just have to be careful running when it's like this. But you can really see, all the little cuts and nooks and crannies that go up into these flats, and a lot of times figure out where fish are and stuff when you have conditions like this, because you can really see what you normally can't, and it's pretty cool. So here we're going down another big channel. This is deeper water here that we're going to be getting into, and that'll take us all the way down here to where we cross. This is kind of crossing over to the mainland. This stretch is deeper water here. It's 8 to 10 feet, so obviously there's some swells, but In my boat, I can just kind of go right side too, and you'll see, I mean, we don't even really get hardly any spray at all. You kind of have to almost surf the waves, so I'll turn the boat, into a swell and then kind of turn it the other way to come down it. And you just kind of learn that after you drive a boat for a while. And every boat kind of drives differently, so you kind of learn what you can do to keep yourself dry. And on this boat, it's a lot different than my old boat because on my old boat I would have to run down sea and quarter and really plan my route and zigzag a lot. This boat, I mean, I can run straight across like you saw there and keep dry and comfortable, and that's the great thing about it. It's probably one of the driest boats I've ever ridden on for its size. And so here, we're running down the mainland. We got the wind behind us. It's smooth sailing for the most part, and we're about to get up in the big canal here where we're going to be fishing, and that shows you the trip there to get into the backcountry. As you can see, it wasn't a problem, and we caught a bunch of fish on this day, and it was good. So, pretty cool.